keep your worlds apart. This is not good. Worlds are colliding.
You know what happens then?
Welcome to another incursion here at Secret Pause. It's your boy Dennis, aka Old Dirty Dennis. And today we are talking love. The good, the bad, everything in between. It's important to tell people that you love them. And this isn't limited to just a partner. I mean your parents too, your friends, anyone anyone that if you lost them tomorrow, there's no regrets because nothing was left unsaid. Not that I want you to lose anyone. But that's sort of the fragility of life, you know? Is that the correct way? Fragility? I think so. Um, we're gonna lose everyone at some point. Grim, dark, morbid, I know. It's either you or them. That's reality. But that's not neither here and there, because this issue is isn't about death. It's about love. All types of love. Loving love. And if it's genuine, I don't think how people show their love is necessarily wrong. It can be based on the type of person that you are or maybe how you was raised. I kind of relate it to cooking, right? Everyone cooks differently. You can line up 5 people right now to make the same dish and they all taste slightly different. I might add more salt than you. You might let yours sit in the pot longer than me. Like it's all the same dish, and that's kind of how I look at love, you know? No one's no person's way is any less or greater than the other. It's just different. And what values they hold and meaning may not be the same as yours, but that doesn't take away from it doesn't take away from how they show it. It doesn't make it any less or less valuable or less important or genuine. Like if you show people, let's say, okay, perfect example. So let's say the way you show people that you care is spending time, right? I personally admire that because time is finite and you only have so much to share and you're choosing it to share with this person or with these people. To me, that isn't any different than a person that values cooking or baking to show their love. Maybe in their household, making a meal or sharing it was how they experienced or showcase love, or just the act of making something from scratch for others. There's a million different ways to show it. There's also compromises in that, right? On both sides. Because you do have to kind of meet people on their turf and understand their love languages and, try to speak it, even if not fluently, right? But also, on the opposite end, understand that the person trying to speak it, they aren't you. They aren't necessarily going to do things the way you do them. And it isn't because of a lack of respect on their part. It's just them. They don't have your experiences. It's not, it's more like just trying to find a middle ground and understanding. Because if you care and know that the actions are genuine, then it's in fact coming from a place of love. I think I think we get caught up in our own, like in ourselves sometimes. Well, I love like this and I expect and and we ignore the beauty in, the idea that it can be expressed in so many different ways and still be meaningful and heartfelt. That isn't to say you don't deserve your way. Like if flowers are what makes you happy, but you keep getting chocolate, there's a clear disconnect there, and that person isn't hearing you at all. Maybe a conversation needs to be had to kind of decipher like what the problem is there. You know what I'm saying? Some people need to be told "I love you" like 7 times a day to feel, I don't know, whole or adequate, and that's okay. If that's what you need, I feel like that's a whole nother rabbit hole to dive into. Personally, I don't. I value actions over words when it comes to anything. That's just me personally, you know, because you can say anything. Don't tell me, show me, right? Because if I already value your opinion and I think incredibly highly of you and take you at your word, I don't need constant reassurance. I get it. Trust me. I believe you. You ever have like a job where they tell you how great of an employee you are all the time, Okay, that's great, but show me. Like, where's the promotion? Where's the money? Where's the title? Like, what does any of that mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's how I kind of feel about it. Like, okay, that's great. Just show me. Where's the action behind these words? And for me, action doesn't always have to be anything grand. It could be as just intimate as listening. You know, not hear me, but listen to me, because there is a difference. Your ears work, so you're going to hear me regardless. But to listen though, like truly listen, listening is different. That requires actually paying attention, like taking in what I'm saying, you know, why I'm saying it, and where you fit into that. Like, it doesn't have to be like, it doesn't even have to deal with you per se. It could just be how you respond to what I'm saying. A follow up question on the matter, versus a yo, that's crazy. Like, it goes a long way. Remembering a small fact, you make a person feel heard doing that. And I try to do that with people. I do try to listen. It's probably why I'm more seeing you in person versus like FaceTime. Because when I'm very, very rare, um, I do happen to FaceTime. It's usually, for me, FaceTime just feels like a invasion of space and privacy, because that's my personal time where I'm just alone or whatever and doing something in the house. But when I come out and I agree to chill in a group or chill one on one or whatever and just catch up, you have my attention. You have my undivided attention. I'm I barely touch my phone when I'm out with people because I just feel like it's rude. Like, I want to give you, this is my time. Like I was saying earlier about time being finite, this is my time for you to listen to you, to talk to you, to laugh with you. I don't need to be on my phone at that time. And I guess that's just, how I see it versus like FaceTime. I'm not really a big FaceTime guy. Like, I want to be able to talk to you and, interact with you and whatever and that goes from relationships to friendships, whatever. Like, that time is your time. Like, I am here for this right now. Like, this isn't about anything else. And, that's just like how I try to show love to people is, I do listen. I do my best to listen to everything people are talking about. But I digress. We're talking about I love you. Hearing it too much, I believe it kind of instinctually gets taken for granted after a while. Like the concept of habituation, right? The whole idea of a repeated stimulus losing its intended response over time. The impact just isn't the same. And that's not limited to love. I think that's everything. Like, you ever hear so much bad news on TV, after a while you kind of just get desensitized by the whole thing? It's still bad news and you recognize it as such, but you know, like, I think pizza is one of the greatest things ever invented. Like, there's nothing like a New York pepperoni slice fresh out the oven. Now, if you ask me if I feel that same way after eating it for a month straight, all day, every day, on the flip side, though, hearing it too little can like lead to feelings of inadequacy. There's like a sweet spot somewhere in the middle, because no one is yearning with desire and passion all day. You're not a soap opera. No matter how much you love, you're human and you experience a myriad of emotions, and those emotions fluctuate their level of intensity constantly. It's a spectrum, right? And no one sits in one area of that spectrum all the time. Look, I'm not telling you how to do anything, right? Perhaps, perhaps every waking moment of every single day of your life, henceforth, you are exploding with a raging, fiery, inextinguishable passion that cannot be tamed by even the greatest of tsunamis or put out by a lifetime of torrential rain. Sure, sure. I believe you. I don't believe you because you're not that one dimensional. For sure. You know, no one can handle that all the time. Not even those who believe they fit that description. You don't. It's just a nice thought, you know? But that's what makes people love, right? Because you want to be wrapped up in it all the time, even though you don't particularly want to be wrapped up in it all the time. It's just the idea that sounds magical, sounds perfect, you know? But the flaw in that is we aren't perfect. So it isn't really sustainable. You'll love, of course, you do love, but it'll always be varying degrees of love daily, you know? Like 82 degrees and 94 degrees are still both hot, but they aren't the same. You know, you might wake up and be a 55-degree day, you know, or something may happen and you hit a 91 or 81. That's normal. No one sits on a 96 every day. That's impossible. You would exhaust yourself. And if anyone did that to you all the time, you would be exhausted. Let's just be honest in that, you know? Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day. Don't make Valentine's Day weird. It doesn't need to be. That's for the fellas. That's for the ladies. That's for everyone. You know, one thing I've come to learn about like holidays in general as I've gotten older is the more you give, the more you enjoy the holiday, right? Because if you care about these people or this person, them experiencing some kind of joy as a result of something you did, if you truly care about them, makes you feel good. You know, let's say you have a friend that never gets cards. You know, you should get them some cards from me, artbyden.etsy.com. No, let's just say you have someone that never gets cards, right? Them just no, you know what? Let's say you get them a card with a nice message. That's still celebrating Valentine's Day. That's you making someone's day with an action that they'll probably hold on to for a long time. That's listening. That's paying attention. That's filling a need. That's being genuine and giving. It applies to partners as well. It applies to anyone. You know, like I said, listening to me is such a big thing that just the idea of listening in itself is like a gift because it makes you feel heard, you know? And I just kind of feel like in general, we complicate what Valentine's Day needs to be. It's really just about showing love to people you love, you know? It's not about one upping anyone on the gram. It's not about flashing shit in other people's faces. And I don't mean, you know, flashing that you're proud of your partner or friends or whatever. You know what I'm talking about specifically. And trust this is also not some weird consumerism is destroying Valentine's Day rant. Listen, buy the back. Get the Ferrari. Take the trip. I'm talking about the meaning behind the action. Like, is it for them or is it to show us that it's for them? I just I just feel like there is that one small I call it small, but it gets taken up. It takes up so much space of just doing it not necessarily for the person, but for the props from everyone else. And I think that's corny. Like you shouldn't love for props from others. You love because you love, you know, or whatever that person brings into your life. That's why you feel that way, or you feel that way towards your friends or your family or whatever it is that they do. And this is just an opportunity to appreciate them for the things that they do, you know? So yeah, I don't know. Like I said, this is not anti-consumerism. Please buy the card. Please buy the candy or the nice gift or the expensive gift. It's more so the intention behind any of those. Even if it was just chocolate, I would probably feel the same way. Like I would feel the same way. Like intention, like intent. I feel like it's you'll never see me have to brag about doing something for someone because if I did it for you, you being happy is enough for me to be happy. Like I don't need a pat on the back from the rest of the world. I don't know. I now I feel like I'm just falling down a rabbit hole of like ranting. But yeah, I mean, like I guess let's just wrap it on that. Love, love. Be mindful of other people's love languages. Take care when it comes to how they show it. You know, it may not seem genuine to you, but it could be coming from the heart from them because you don't know how. There's no definition of just this is the way that you love. People have different, like I said, different backgrounds, experiences, and this is how they've come to show their sincerity towards you. And be mindful of that. on both sides, by the way. But yeah, go out there, tell somebody you love them, tell everyone that you love them. You know, as always, if there's anything you want me to talk about, reach out. I'm on all social media sites as Old Dirty Dennis. That's OLDIRTYDENNIS. You can find my art and greeting cards, like I mentioned earlier, on Etsy, artbyden.etsy.com. That's DENN. Till the next battle, stay worthy, stay true to love. Is your boy. Peace.